Cemeteries are not usually associated with warm welcomes, but if you would just bear with me, I'll tell you what it takes for one to symbolize life after difficult times.
Our story this week has rather an unusual beginning. We are in a small cemetery in the southeast of Tehran, and I'm going to tell you the story of the 2,000 tombs that are here.
We've all heard many stories about how the Second World War began with the Nazi Germany's invasion of Poland in September 1939 and the mass deportation of over 1 million Poles to different parts of the Soviet Union. But something we haven't heard quite often about is the story of those who were freed from labor camps in Siberia 2 years later, and the lucky ones who made it to Iran.
خیلی اوقات بازیکنندگان کشور لهستان که میان اینجا وقتی که داستان‌ها و حالا تاریخ در واقع جزئی از تاریخ کشورشونه میشنون و خیلیشون گریه میکنن و حقم دارن و اکثرا از مردم ایران در واقع متشکر هستن به خاطر اون مهمان نوازی و خدماتی که در واقع این آوارگان لهستانی جنگ دوم وقتی که از اردوگاه‌های سیبری وارد ایران شدن ما بهشون در واقع دادیم.
Nearly 120,000 Polish refugees crossed the Caspian Sea in crowded boats and landed in the port city of Bandar Anzali. At that time, Iran was receiving up to 2,500 refugees per day. Thousands of them were children who had lost their parents and were sent to live in Isfahan. From 1942 to 1945, nearly 30,000 children stayed in Isfahan, and the city was nicknamed the City of Polish Children.
They had very good memories from Iran. Of course, they had a very difficult time before arriving here because they were in mines in Siberia and in different very hard living conditions. Many of them lost their family members over there. Many children lost their parents. So when they arrived here, for them Iran was a paradise. They were very well taken care of. They were fed. They were able to attend schools. And so they also had their first meetings with Iranian people. They were able to get to know something about Iranian culture, and they kept this good memory for many years to come.
75 years on, as a token of appreciation, the Adam Mickiewicz Institute, an affiliate of Poland's Ministry of Culture and National Heritage, arranged several cultural events in Tehran and Isfahan, including an exhibition of rare photos recently found in an old photography atelier.
We would like to bring this exhibition to Iranian public as a gratitude to pay tribute and homage to Iranian nation for welcoming Polish people during the Second World War. The exhibition will present the unique collection of 1,200 negatives which were found by Iranian curator Ms. Parisa Damandan in Isfahan.
The photos were taken by well-known Isfahani photographer Abulqasim Jala, allowing us to catch a glimpse of the years that the Polish children spent in Iran.
توی انبار مال قسمت شیشه ها این شیشه ها توی جین بود توی این جعبه ها رو بهش گفتن جین جینا رو چیده بودن رو هم حدود اینا 1100 تا شیشه مال لهستانیا زیرش هم نوشته بودن پناهندگان لهستانی ما هم مدرسه می رفتیم گفتیم اینا چی هن پناهنده گفتن ماجراشو برامون گفتن.
They say that a picture speaks 1,000 words. So these 70 pictures on display here can tell us an entire story of the 35,000 displaced children and the years that they spent here in Isfahan.
Judging by the pictures, you can tell that the children were actually happy. In many ways, Iranians tried to make them feel at home. Numerous schools were set up to teach the children their native Polish language, as well as math and science.
I came here with some mixed feelings because I thought this will be something very tragic, very touching. But what I see here is the people who came to Iran as refugees and how Iran has helped them.
I come today as the daughter of General Anders, as well as being a minister and a senator from Poland. For me, this part of history is very important. It's important for the memory of my father, it's important for the memory of Poles, but it is almost also important to show the friendship that existed between Poland and Iran then, and the continuation that is now 75 years later. My father was the head of the Polish army that was formed in Russia and came to fight for the freedom of Poland. And Iran was the country that accepted them. They came to Iran hoping that they would be able to go back to Poland. They were never able to go back to Poland because Poland was under communist rule. So Iran became a second home for them.
اصفهان نه تنها مظهر هنر، خلاقیت، زیبایی، بلکه مظهر مهمان نوازی و به اصطلاح امروزی ها مدافع حقوق بشر بوده. در اون زمانی که اینها رو در اروپا آنگونه تحت ستم قرار دادن، اصفهان به عنوان شهری که قانون رعایت حقوق بشر بوده این آوارگان رو پذیرفته. امیدواریم که این نمایش ها بتونه زمینه رو فراهم بکنه برای تعامل انسان دوستانه بین همه ملت ها.
Reenacting the sufferings of the Polish refugees before they arrived in Iran was also the topic of several tragic performance art pieces.
The 75th anniversary of the arrival of Polish refugees in Iran gave us an opportunity to take a look at the old neighborhoods where those kids were stationed.
In Isfahan's Julfa neighborhood, which was home to the Polish kids, many of the old buildings that were used as schools or dormitories were still standing tall, carrying the memories of the childhood years of children who sought refuge in Iran.
They were in a huge group, so it was easier for them to accommodate to new conditions. And as far as I know, they remember this moment, and their remembrance about this moment are very positive, and it was something special.
Café Polonia, an old hangout for the Poles living in Isfahan, has recently been renovated and will soon reopen to keep the good memories of those years alive.
They had opportunity to study, to learn Polish, and to learn some skills which would be useful for their future life. The idea was to prepare them as much as possible for their normal life in Poland that they hope to reach very soon.
When you are forced to leave your home and you have to live in a country with a culture very different from yours, maybe the best consolation is to be able to eat the food that you're used to. Well, according to the photos that were found, it seems that the Polish children living in Isfahan had Polish cooks that would cook them traditional Polish food.
And as it turned out, it was not so difficult to guess what dishes they could enjoy back then after all.
I'm quite sure because I didn't took anything from my home from Poland to cook this. So all the ingredients I bought or I found on the street.
75 years have passed, and the Poles did their best to thank Iran for its open arms during the Second World War and its display of religious tolerance and hospitality. Gisumi Shahmadi for Iran.